I know, you may have already canceled Disney Plus, so I went ahead and watched Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers, so that you don't have to.
Enough talking! No one messes with the West Chesapeake Valley Thunderbolts!
And honestly, it might be one of the most Jungian storylines in the entire MCU, so caution, spoilers ahead. Super serums have been everywhere in Marvel, but the Thunderbolts adds an entirely new layer. What if a serum doesn't just amplify physical abilities, but also amplifies your inner world, your mental and emotional tendencies? With Steve Rogers, they chose him because of his integrity as well as his emotional intelligence. But Bob Reynolds, aka the Sentry, the super serum, not only magnifies his physical capabilities, but also his mental illness, his shame, and his trauma. And from that comes his shadow, the Void. And honestly, the Sentry's origin here is messy. It's human testing on the mentally ill and creating a villain because of that mental illness. Highly problematic. But it opens the door to some fascinating ideas. Because when Bob shadows people, he pulls them into their own shame rooms, dark spaces where they're forced to face what they most want to forget. Yelena calls them endless interconnected shame rooms.
Watching New York disappear into a big maze of interconnected shame rooms.
This flips the MCU formula. The Thunderbolts, Ghost, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, John Walker can't punch their way out. Their real fight is inward, about their own villainy. Each has to confront unprocessed shame to reach Bob. And the climax isn't about destroying the Void. It's about embracing Bob so that he can love himself and accept himself. And to stop him from beating himself up and pulling him back from the Void as a result. That's closer to Loki, or Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was so brilliant to talk about this idea of moving from nothing matters, which is the Void, to nothing matters, which is a much more embodied form of, yes, maybe it doesn't matter, but we can do something with the time that we have here on Earth regardless. Yelena is the true hero throughout this movie. She's the main character who embodies the truth and the move from the Void to the creator. She refuses to hide. She faces the Void. She joins Bob, and she shows compassion for him instead of rejection. That's her heroic moment. Recognizing that connection heals not through commiseration with the Void, but by amplifying love and support despite it. And for me, one of the things that I find so refreshing about this is that this is a totally new villain. I have an inner villain transformation system, and I try to find examples in movies that help people understand the villainy that exists within them. Villainy of bad strategies, villainy of limiting beliefs, villainy of all of these different things that we have inside of us, and how do we move through our own heroic arc. But I've never been able to find an embodied example of the Nothing, aka the Invisible Destroyer. They're oftentimes the Nothing. The Nothing, which is named from the Michael Ende's The Neverending Story, the Nothing is so ephemeral, it's hard to pin on one person until now. People embodying it vanish into addiction or endless questioning. But Bob literally becomes the Void, the shadow that erases memory and denies embodiment. He's a Void made flesh. The Nothing is a representation of the undefined head center in human design. And it's a representation of the 9 in the Enneagram. And it is such an elusive villain because it is all about disappearing, avoiding, and not interacting with the world. Bob finally gives us an example of this in modern day culture. I would love to hear if you know more, but I haven't been able to find one yet. And so the film then shows us how to move through the arc of the Nothing. Connection, embodiment, mutual support, the path from nothing matters to nothing matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the new Avengers.
So maybe Thunderbolts isn't just another Marvel team up. Maybe it's a meditation on shame and shadow and the truth that villains are just people who have yet to choose another more loving strategy. And if that's where the MCU's going, I'm curious to see where it goes next after the boycott. This is Movies from Beyond, and I'm Kristina Wiltsee. Please engage to support our small channel.